The secret's not about aliens. It's about free energy. The reason why the secret's about free energy is collapse of the economy, lack of power and control over the populace, and then doomsday weapons. That's basically what it boils down to. Now, assuming that we are able to publicly develop this technology, which I think is the only way that we're going to get it, is that we essentially need to do a great project like in the video game Civilization. We need to do a great project where we publicly try to develop a experiment that will teleport. I'm not going to use that. It's brand on it. This coffee mug from over here to over here on video. That's what we're probably going to have to end up doing. It may seem crazy right now, but I think that actually we could do something like that. And I think we could do something like that, and it could be successful in under 10 years. Under 10 years, I think we could do something like that. That might be what it takes. And I think that a lot of people ask me, how long would it take to transform the world after we've publicly got this technology? And that's a really, really good question. The closest analogy or comparison I think we could use is AI itself. OpenAI first started in 2015, 2016, 2015 or 2016, 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago. AI is less than 10 years old, and it's already ubiquitous. Every single company is using AI. All platforms, all database platforms from this point forward are being built off of AI, including my own companies. Every single one. So 9 years, we went from no AI to completely ubiquitous AI in basically every industry that we use. I would say that's a good model for how zero-point energy will roll out. The way zero-point energy is going, and this is my opinion here, could be wrong. Probably what will happen when zero-point energy to like really go mainstream will be when somebody creates the Casimir cavity microchip patent. They create a microchip that can do anti-gravity, free energy, etc. And then they just sell the microchip. Sell the microchip, put the microchip in your Apple iPhone. Person that developed that microchip is now a trillionaire. Instantly. And every single device now has a microchip in it. There's a free energy microchip. And it just turns itself off when the battery is charged. That, I mean, just think about just that simple idea. Just one product. A microchip that even at a slow amount, doesn't even have to produce energy that fast. Just has to produce more energy than you use on average in your phone. Very little amount. Once we have something like that, it's good. Your head is going to spin how quickly free energy technology is just everywhere on everything. We will basically be talking about free energy technology the way we talk now about like the 80s and the 90s when people didn't have cell phones. We'll be like, how crazy was it back in 2025 when we didn't have free energy technology? We were living like primitives, like with candles and shit like that. That's how they'll be talking about us right now. They'll be talking about us now as if we were like primitives with candles in mud brick houses. They'll be like, damn, they didn't have free energy technology back then? They were just like primitive cave people. And then we'll be watching movies and they'll be like, oh, that was back when they didn't have free energy and we were still polluting the planet, like burning shit like idiots. Where Elon Musk thought we were going to fly to Mars on a SpaceX rocket. I swear to you guys, the chance of the people dying, the first people going to Mars on a SpaceX rocket, the chance of those people making it there alive is got to be like 5%. Like they are freaking, it's a death trap. You gotta be out your mind. Okay, guys, you gotta chill on these super chats. Okay, where are we at? Tic Tac Tundra, thank you very much. I thought this was for MH3. Thought this was for MH370 for the victims. Well, of course it's for the victims. Of course it is. Why would you think it's not? I mean, End of the day, I don't think I'd really be disclosing this if it wasn't for the victims, because like I've said, I think this technology is doomsday. I really do think it's doomsday, but I also think it's unavoidable. So honestly, guys, like, I'm not joking. I pretty much every single day, I still wonder about the morality of this technology existing, and if it's not just better that we don't have it. And the only reason why I still do all this and still disclose it is because we teleported in an airplane. We teleported in an airplane. And if you teleport in an airplane, I'm pretty much like, it's an unspoken rule that your right to silence and secrecy is now just null and void. Like, if you're going to have this ultimate power technology and you're going to tell people that we have to keep it secret for national security, then you're not allowed to go around teleporting civilian airliners. It's not like MH370 was like some Chinese military plane. It was a civilian airliner, and you teleported it away with some orbs, and then you also lied to the whole world about it. Like, and we're supposed to believe that you're trustworthy with this technology? Like, guys, do you get this? You get where I'm coming from, right? Like, we're supposed to believe that we should trust the people that are teleporting civilian airliners with this technology? No. I'm just going to roll the dice with the public. If you're out here teleporting civilian airliners, I don't trust you with this technology. I certainly don't trust you more than I trust a random person on the street with it. So, end of the day, if you are going to have this technology, then you better play by your own rules. If you're hiding it for national security purposes, then you better stop using it. You better not be using it illegally on innocent people, right? You're using it on innocent people and then claiming that you're protecting national security. Fuck you, bro. Those people had families, man. There were Americans on board that plane. Kidding me? Do you trust the deep state? Certainly not more than I trust my neighbor. So this is, again, part of the reason why it's like, guys, this is why we have to disclose it. And end of the day, guys, like, the AI is going to make it unavoidable. Now, if they train AI off of Reddit, it'll probably take another 25 years. But eventually, AI will realize that Reddit is fake, and then it'll purge the Reddit from its databases, and then it'll figure out free energy. So eventually, the AI is going to figure this out, and it's going to happen quicker than people expect. So part of the last question that I'll address tonight is that a lot of people say, Ashton, if you were right, they would have killed you. Guys, it's way more complicated than that. First of all, it's not that easy to kill people in 2025. There's a lot of forensics, and there's cameras everywhere these days. So they don't really do that as much anymore. These days, it's more about discrediting somebody. You make them toxic. And they did do that to me. They tried their best, right? And they did it behind the scenes. A lot of these people will talk to these other people, and they tell them not to talk to me, not to have me on, etc., like that. That's what they do these days. And they did do that. And the other thing is, nowadays they don't kill you, they destroy you. Exactly. And I didn't really let them. They tried, and they're still kind of trying. But the other thing, too, is that what's the point? The better approach, if you're smart, the better approach is not to get directly involved, get more people involved in the cover-up. The smart approach is to just ignore it entirely. It's radio silence. And that's what they do. They ignore you. They just don't address you. Why? Because nobody's going to believe you anyway. The people that trust the government, they will make excuses for the government. All the government has to do is say nothing. They'll say the government just doesn't, the government's good. Why would they lie? No. Right? So the government doesn't have to say anything, because the people that already trust the government will go to bat for them. And anything they say is only going to dig them deeper in the hole. So their best play is just to ignore it. And that's what they've been doing, although it's pretty damn awkward, especially when Edward Lin is out there. And I do want to point out, because I don't know if I'm going to dig deep into this, that last two quick topics for tonight, and then we're going to call it for tonight, is Witro did a really good psychological analysis of Edward Lin and presents a very strong argument that the leak of the MH370 videos was indirect. And I've pretty much been saying the same thing, not exactly the same as what he's been saying, but that the videos got on the internet and Edward Lin is responsible, but he's not necessarily the person that directly put them on the internet. And this would make sense if you look at, like, well, the government put him in prison, but they didn't kill him and they didn't put him in prison for life. And it seems like everybody's fine with what happened, including him, which would indicate that he knew he was partially responsible, but that he wasn't malicious. So I agree. I don't necessarily know if China hacked Edward Lin and then put it on the internet, although I can't rule it out. I still think it's more likely that Edward Lin showed somebody else the videos and then that person leaked them on the internet without Edward Lin knowing. But Edward Lin's definitely involved in those videos, no question. And the reason why, the last reason why that makes a lot of sense is that Edward Lin has also been avoiding me in this whole topic, which would indicate that he was always on the side of protecting national security and that he was never trying to leak those videos to expose national security. Just something to think about.